What is going on, guys? Tristan here from the Crypto Lab, and today I want to talk to you guys about a couple of subjects, a couple of things. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar. We're going to be looking at some Ethereum charts. Also, we're going to be talking about Ethereum news and the potential pump that is upcoming. And finally, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin billionaires, or rather, billionaires who are in Bitcoin. So let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? So before you go ahead any further, go ahead, subscribe, like this channel, and be sure to go ahead and share this video. It helps out a lot. First things first, we're looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar and the 4-hour chart. Now, what's interesting here is if I go ahead and draw this trend line, we have some sort of pennant here. Now, I want to bring something to your attention here. It's that if you look at previous prices here on October 22nd and here on the 28th of October, here the 31st, we've had multiple touches all the way through. We were able to break through this resistance line, come back, test it for support, and then test it again as support and test it again. So this is something very bullish. All throughout, we've been making higher lows. That is the name of the game. Higher low, and higher low, right? So we have support or resistance, flip support, and now we're stuck in this pennant pattern. Now, this could literally go 50-50. One thing that we could consider is this. If we take a measured move price target from the top of this point down to about here, which is the now support, and breaking down, considering the fact that we break down, we can see Bitcoin come all the way back to about $13,630, right? That is the bearish scenario. Now, on the bullish side, right? Again, these pennant patterns are considered to be bullish continuation patterns. And if we go ahead, clone this, and then move it up from a breakout point, a potential breakout point, that same measured move price target now brings us up to 16,900, right? Now, if we go to the daily, zooming out to the daily now, what's interesting about this is if I go ahead, delete all of this mess over here, we'll delete some of this mess, and you'll notice that the pennant is much more clear. But one could even say it's an ascending triangle, right? That's the thing about technical analysis. It's subjective from each viewer. So I'm going to give you the other bullish scenario or another outcome for this ascending triangle if this is what we're making up. So from the top, right, let me go ahead, move this up a bit. Yep, this would approximately be the top, right? From the top of this candle to the bottom of this candle right here. Yeah, that's good. We'll go ahead and draw a measured move price target, and that would bring us to about, again, the same price target, which is $16,915. So that is the bullish scenario for Bitcoin. We're going to see how this thing plays out, but moving right along, Bitcoin's price near 16K, but it's Ethereum that may shine in November. You know, we've had the news regarding Ethereum 2.0. And what's interesting about this is that, let me go ahead and read some of the article for you. There are two key reasons why analysts expect the Ether to perform strongly in the near term. First, the capital in Bitcoin market could move into ETH following the announcement of ETH 2.0. Second, ETH recently tested a critical resistance level, raising the chance of a broader rally. Given that the altcoin market has historically rallied after an initial Bitcoin upsurge, the timing of ETH's uptrend is ideal. Now, I want to look at some technical analysis for ETH. So you'll see here, I drew out a couple trend lines. We're in this pennant pattern. This orange line right over here represents a monthly support or resistance, now flip support. And the thing about these pennants, it's that, you know, they could work out either or. One could say, yeah, we could break up or down, but another way you could look at it is like this. Let's move over to the 4-hourly, right? Oftentimes, these pennants tend to break down and turn into flags, right? So if we're turning this bad boy into a flag, better yet, let me get my parallel channel tool. delete all of this, get my parallel channel tool, and what we could do is draw a line from this top to the bottom, and then after that, we'll notice that this middle dashed line is considered to be a support. Now, Ethereum could easily bounce off of this area right here, which is our monthly support. Not only that, I want to go ahead and take out the Fibonacci tool. It's this. If we draw the Fibonacci tool from swing high to swing low, you notice that exact same point is about the 434, and dragging this down some more from this last breakout, right? This is now the golden pocket. Now, if you don't know about the golden pocket ratio, this is something that is very, very Ethereum and Bitcoin tend to respect these levels, the 61.8 and the 65% level. I mean, strong possibility if we do break down out of this former pennant, we could come down and test this level right here, right? And then we could see a possible, or more than likely, a bounce to the upside, right? And considering the fact that, you know, this is a flag pattern, our next measured move price target would look something like this. From the top of this to the bottom, take it from here. Potentially speaking, we could break from here, one of these points. Potentially we could see a price target of 5, or let's call it 495, right, for Ethereum. Again, this is the short term. This is not the macro long term. This is a short term consideration. If you want to take this trade, this is not financial advice, but you could consider A, trading a breakout, or B, waiting for the bounce. I mean, more of aggressive position right here, but you're going to wait for the bullish divergence if we do come down into this point, and that'll be a confirmation that we could go higher, right? So a lot of confluence in this area with the monthly support, the Fibonacci golden pocket ratio, and not only that, I mean, the channel support, dash line support. So that's another thing that you could consider. All right, moving right along. We're seeing a lot of billionaires come into the space. I mean, this marks billionaire number 244. I'm just making up that number off the top of my head. I'm just joking. There's a ton of billionaires moving to the space, and they're now considering Bitcoin. And I want to play this video. As a matter of fact, shout out to Blockfolio. I already liked their post, but shout out to Blockfolio for pointing this out. They say billionaire investor Stan Druckenmiller says he owns Bitcoin. I mean, that's another billionaire that you could add to the list. And this is bullish. I seen a tweet earlier from Pomp. He tweeted a bunch of billionaires, Paul Tudor Jones, Michael Saylor, the list goes on and on. They're all bullish. Shamath, ton of heavy, hard-hitting investors. They're all bullish on Bitcoin. The question is, if you're a bear, if you don't think Bitcoin's gonna work, why aren't you bullish? So let's go ahead and play this video.
Kind of going back to your optimism or bullishness earlier, does that mean buy U.S. equities? Buy gold? Is that kind of the rationale behind buy Bitcoin? What about copper and some of the copper names there? I mean, what would be in the kind of dollar decline basket?
When you look at the extraordinary measures taken by the Fed and the fact that they're monetizing the debt, I think it's a high probability that we get inflation the next 5 or 6 years. Starting maybe in a year or two, particularly with a vaccine now, the economy could run very hot. At the same time, all the stimulus is in the pipeline. At the same time, you have challenged supply chains between the United States and China. If that were to happen, again, the rotation I talked about earlier, there are companies that benefit greatly from inflation, and then that ignore a bond market decline, and then there are companies that the stocks of which would not benefit so much, specifically growth stocks. With regard to gold and Bitcoin, you've kind of overstated in your introduction my enthusiasm for Bitcoin. I do own a tiny bit of it, but I own a lot more gold. Gold is a 5,000-year brand as a go-to asset in terms of inflation. And as I just described, I could see why you could have inflation way beyond the market's expectations. Having said that, I'm a bit of a dinosaur, but I have warmed up to the fact that Bitcoin could be an asset class that has a lot of attraction to as a store of value to both millennials and the new West Coast money. And as you know, they've got a lot of it. It's been around for 13 years, and with each passing day, it picks up more of its stabilization of a brand. So I own many more times gold than I own Bitcoin. But frankly, if the gold bet works, the Bitcoin bet will probably work better because it's thinner and more liquid and has a lot more beta to it.
All right, and our last tweet for today, we have Need a Coin. I want to show some support to this tweet because I do like what he posted here, or she, whoever it is. She says, Bitcoiners wanted to be billionaires. Now billionaires want to be Bitcoiners. That's so interesting because you know what? Guys like, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, he said Bitcoins are rat poisoning. But now the narrative has changed a ton, right? We've seen tons of billionaires, tons of corporations, and now institutional interest moving into crypto. Again, that's all I have for today, guys. Leave your comments down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And please be sure to go ahead and join us at school at Crypto Lab Academy. I will see you there.